welcome to Granite City Reds. My name is Lewis and welcome to the channel. It's a brand new YouTube channel for me, and yeah, today I want to speak about the Aberdeen manager situation. And before we get into the rumoured appointment here, I just want to say thank God it's not Stephen Robinson or John McGlynn, because yeah, that is just typical since Scottish Premiership, merry-go-round appointment. That Robinson's football is absolutely dogging to watch. I don't care that St Mirren won the League Cup. He is not the answer for the Dons. There was a couple of names as well. There was Marcus Gisdol, who, yes, had a good little stint at Hoffenheim, but I think his CV after that was very underwhelming. I didn't think he was the right man. There was another interesting name that was Robert Klub. I think he was last at Austrian Vienna, and I think he was in the Red Bull Academy as well. He was an interesting name, but it looks like Lutz Pfannenstiel has finally maybe got his man. And that man is Eirik Horneland, according to Sky Sports. And I've seen this all day today. I think this name actually, might have been mentioned a couple of days ago. But he now is the leading contender to get the Dons job. And he was last at St Etienne. I think they're in the French second division. I could be wrong. But he had a really impressive stint at SK Brann in Norway. He was also the Rosenborg manager as well at one point, which is a very, very big job in Norway. But yeah, according to Sky Sports, Eirik Horneland is the leading contender to land the Pittodrie job as ex-St Etienne boss impresses the Dons. Apparently he's impressed the Chiefs, sort of be the likes of Lutz Pfannenstiel and Alan Burrows, I'm guessing, that would be leading the recruitment. I know Lutz was in charge, but I'm guessing Burrows and Cormac would have a say on that as well. As a search for a new manager, the Dons sacked Jimmy Tillene on January 4th, and I might make a video on my thoughts on Jimmy Tillene as well, and that whole situation. But yeah, Peter Levin has been in charge, and that Kilmarnock game, guys, that 3-0 defeat, oh me, like, why can we not defend set pieces in particular? I'm sorry, guys. I will maybe make a video on Graham Shinney as well. Absolute legend for the club, but I think he needs to go into a coaching role or something. Or if he still wants to play on, maybe a wee little move to Inverness to see out his career, something like that. But yeah, he's had a decent managerial record. But apparently he's impressed the likes of Lutz Pfannenstiel. Sky Sports News reported that the final process would take place this week with St Mirren's Stephen Robinson. For God, it's not going to be him. Uwe Rosler, that was another name that was linked. And again, very underwhelming in my opinion. I think he was manager at Fleetwood Town. And yeah, his CV, it just didn't excite me really. And of course, Marcus Gisdol, who, let's be honest, like, again, after Hoffenheim, you only would average, like, a club once, like, a year he would stay in a job. So he wasn't consistent with any clubs, I would say. But yeah, Lutz Pfannenstiel's led through the process. And, yeah, he was also trying to get him at his previous clubs at Dusseldorf and St Louis City as well. So yeah, he seems an interesting name, by far the best name out of all the crap that's been suggested, on social media or with the bookies or even BBC Scotland touting out their mates. Where's Neil Lennon getting the job? Like stupid suggestions. Like Stephen Robinson is just, like Chris Boyd as well. The rubbish he comes out with. Like, why can't Aberdeen just appoint a Scottish manager? Yet his team, of course, have a foreign coach. You know what I mean? So the less we say about that numpty, the better. But yeah, he started his managerial career as assistant manager to Hogsland, I think it's called. But he ended up becoming the Norway under-19s manager as well. And then he did become the Rosenborg manager, I believe. But it was a little bit early in his career, so it was maybe a little too early, too soon. But, and we will get to this in a minute, his best stint as manager was with SK Brann. Which this is really interesting because Silva Nielsen was his captain at SK Brann, and he was actually pivotal to the way he played in Norway, which is really interesting because I thought by the January transfer window, I thought Nielsen would be gone, but this actually might mean Nielsen might stay with the club. Potentially, because he was a big part of Holland's team in Brann. He did not want him to go when Jimmy Tillin signed him for the Dons. The start of his tenure with Aberdeen. So that's really interesting, in my opinion. He's got decent pedigree. I don't think it worked at St Etienne, but he was only let go, or I think he resigned, just this past weekend. So I'm wondering if Lutz is trying to persuade him to leave France, get any challenge at Aberdeen. I believe it was very toxic in France. There's a lot of things going on with our fans and stuff like that. So maybe he needs a new start. But this is the very impressive thing, guys, is his win percentage record. So you're looking at his record here on Wikipedia. So as I say, Norway under-19 manager, Hogsland, Rosenborg, Brann, St Etienne. And the one good thing I've seen here, he's stayed at Brann for 3 years. He's staying at St Etienne for 2 years. It's not like a manager that's getting sacked left out of the brew all the time. But where is his records? Yeah, his win percentage here for Brann is very impressive. So my belief is with Brann was he took over as a caretaker manager, and unfortunately he couldn't keep them up through relegation. They got relegated. It was a little too late, but they came straight back up. They were champions, and ever since then, the first season back in the top flight, they finished second place. And you can just see by that win percentage, guys, 62.96, 135 games played, 85 wins, 25 draws, 25 losses. If we could get that kind of form at the Dons, we will be back. We should be up there challenging where Hearts, Rangers and Celtic are right now. We should be in that conversation right now. But this season's been an absolute disaster. But that's where we should be. And if he can bring that sort of form to us, I think we've actually got a really good chance next season of at least fighting for the European places. St Etienne wasn't as successful as you see there, 37.21, but they're a bit of a basket case of a club right now, so I wouldn't actually read too much into that. Yes, Rosenborg, 43.14, but you're looking at the other managers' win percentages, guys, that was being linked to us, and they're nowhere near that level. Not even close. Not even close. So for me, I think this is the guy. I honestly think this is the manager we've been waiting for so long, and I think with Lutz Pfannenstiel not rushing to pick an appointment, and go for an easy choice like Stephen Robinson, the cheap option. He's been patient, and I think the patience might be worth it. So it's one of them things. We've got to wait and see what happens, guys. We've got to wait and see. Another thing I want to mention, guys, look at this stat though. Look at this. 135 games and 342 goals. Honestly, we would absolutely bite our hand off to have that kind of record at Aberdeen. Like, when was the last time we probably had a record like that. Granted, yes, he was in the second division, but even then, he went to the top flight in that second season, and that's how much goals he's had in 155 games. That is insane. That is like what? That's more than double the amount of games he's played. So he's obviously averaging at least 2-3 goals a game. That is impressive. Yes, okay, you can look at the stats there for Etienne. 43 games, 78 goals, but 74 conceded. I still think it's probably better than what we've got right now. We're in the minus in goal difference. He was at least a +4. But look at that, plus 176 goal difference for SK Brann and 62.9% win percentage. He is the man, guys. He is the man. Okay, so this is actually from an article from a website called Total Football Analysis. And did anyone see the Derek Ray interview on Premier Sports? How he was saying that Luke Svanensteel wants to have an identity at Aberdeen Football Club. They want to have, basically intensive counter-press kind of football. Well, this actually, going by this article, kind of matches exactly what Derek Ray was saying in that interview. And if you go to, where is it? Okay, so I found it. He typically plays a 4-3-3, both in possession and out of possession. Generally, ball dominant, which is good. We want to see Aberdeen on the ball. We don't want teams like Motherwell showing up and having 60% possession. But defending begins in possession with the team setting themselves up in a specific shape on the ball to try and break the opponent down and score. But basically, what I've also read is, they're very aggressive. As soon as they lose the ball, they're straight in to try and win it back, which is really, really interesting. And I think that's one thing that Aberdeen, especially under Yumi Talene, lacked, was just that aggression. We haven't had the players really, we haven't had that, centre midfielder that can, dominate teams. Kind of like a Scott Brown. Although I did not like Scott Brown at Aberdeen, I'm not going to lie. I did not like the idea of him playing for us at the time. But, just that, nitty gritty kind of midfielder. And yeah, it's very, very, very interesting, guys. I highly recommend, and I'll put this article in the description for you guys to look at. But basically, yes, he's very intensive in his tactics. So again, guys, this is where I'm wondering if Nielsen actually has a future now at Aberdeen. Because as I say, he was looking likely that he was going to be a departure. But this is what I found interesting. Holding midfielder Siva Hilter Nielsen was crucial to Horneland's tactics throughout the coach's time at Brann, but he departed earlier this summer for Scottish Premiership side Aberdeen, a significant loss for Horneland and his tactics. Since Nielsen's departure, Horneland has tried out different shapes, including a double pivot, essentially highlighting how important his profile of a highly fit, aggressive yet intelligent defensive midfielder was for the out-of-possession tactics Horneland advocates. So that is interesting. With the two brand new signings as well, they fit right into that mould of what he's looking for, I believe. Because obviously Nielsen is up there in age. And I dare say his prime would have been at Brann. It definitely wasn't at Aberdeen. Although, to be honest, I thought Nielsen looked good when he first joined the club under Yumi. I thought he looked good. And then after that, his form just went. And yeah, he's been playing centre-back recently as well. Filling in when players are injured and stuff. So it'll be really interesting to see if Nielsen is part of his plans. So yeah, guys, I think that is going to do it for this video. But let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what you think of the new manager, potentially. I'll be interested to see. I've seen suggestions also, maybe Nielsen could go on to the coaching staff as well. He could be like a player coach, potentially. I know he gets a lot of slack, and I know he can be a bit of a scapegoat at times, especially when him and Shinnie were in the middle of the park. It just did not work. But I'm quite excited by this. I really am. I think this could be an interesting appointment, and I think the summer especially is going to be pivotal. Let me know in the comments as well, guys. Do you think Peter Leaving should leave the club once this new appointment happens, if it does happen? And yeah, I've also got another YouTube channel called Scottish Man Cave as well. If you're into gaming and all that kind of stuff, I will have it in the link as well. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Stand free.